Thanks for joining us again in a new episode. Great show coming up. We're going to be discussing a few vital points, such as the Super League, the preview for the weekend games, and in short, the Christmas schedule. We've got Oscar here and Moses for vital opinions and points. So yeah, boys, let's kick it off with the hottest news at the moment, the Super League. What do you guys make of that?
No, you've had a lot to say this morning.
Yeah, with the Super League, it's no real surprise it's back. Or well, it was back. It seems like it was back, and it seems like it's already over with. So you can already see how many teams have already they're distancing themselves away from it. So PSG have dropped out. Atletico Madrid. Who else? Man United have already said they're not touching it. So right now, I'm waiting for the others to follow suit. Really, there are others who have accepted. I saw PSV. I think all of the Italian teams are on it. A couple other like obviously those mid-tier sort of teams. Obviously, when you look at the Super League, it's a lot of
Technical difficulties there, Mo, I guess. I'll just go to Society's mic. But
Mm,
I don't see the difference with the Super League and what the Champions League format have done because now when they did introduce the Super League, the reason why everybody kicked off because there was just it was like a franchise where no teams can get relegated, no teams can get in. So now
mm.
they've addressed that. I don't see what the difference is now with what these men have suggested. I don't see the point. So I don't know what
No, I
your
agree.
thoughts are.
I agree. My first initial opinion, I'll be honest with you, on the idea, I thought it was the most ludicrous, crazy, money grabbing idea ever known to football or to fans anywhere in the world. You're talking
Yeah,
about teams that are, whatever, 4 or 5 teams, even if more or less from whichever league you're talking about, playing. And this, as a fan, right? This is my first thought. I'm like, all right, I'd love to see the Arsenal, Tottenham game, Chelsea, whatever, United, the City, all the big teams that we know here,
yeah,
those games. But how am I going to go see the Milan game, for example, or the Juve game, the Madrid
yeah,
game? Like what kind of budget do you need to play to watch those games, right? And you got what was the original list? Something like around 16 teams or something like that, right? If I'm not
yeah,
mistaken. So that's a lot of traveling, a lot of expenses and money, and I just can't believe the English teams are falling for it. Like I genuinely cannot believe it. The whole reason why it's kicked off is trying to rebalance and redistribute the wealth of modern football, right?
yeah,
So for periods in history, we had the Serie A, the Italian league was top. That was the one that everyone watched, and that's where the big money was going.
yeah,
Um, La Liga took over a while after that, right? And that's where the big money went. And then soon after that, with the introduction of the Premier League and the few years it took, to the renaming at least, from the 92, 93 season or whatever, and it took a while, but it got there in terms of views and interest from abroad. Um, and the big money started coming in, and it's only getting stronger and stronger year after year, right? With the views and the incredible things that we've witnessed in the Premier League over the last few decades, if you like, whether it's Leicester winning the league, whether Man City securing the title in the last 2 seconds or whatever, all this drama, this intensity, that's driving the money up. That's driving the value of the sport up, and now you're willing to share that with the other leagues again and at the fans cost, which is like insane in my mind. Like the fans made the league what it is today. um it shouldn't be at but that's the thing, that it's going to lead me to so many points, right? Like the whole um new ownership kind of um influence that's happening in the Premier League. At least I'm sure it's happening in all the leagues, right? The Italian league and the Premier League more specifically, American owners or whatever, international owners from all different parts. Where if you're comparing the American owners, specifically, we'll start with those, and it's not, but this is like I've got a point to explain here. It's so Stan Kroenke, the Arsenal owners, right, or the chairman of the Arsenal group that owns the club. He also owns an NFL team and a few other sports
Yeah, it does.
brands
Yeah.
like a
So do
basketball
the
team.
Glazers. So do the Glazers.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
this is the crazy thing about that particular platform, right? American sports or sports in America. They label it as a franchise, right? So to them, it's purely a business.
Yeah.
Um, the Kroenkes moved their club from the state it was in to another state
Wow.
solely for a stadium, right? Like you're talking about hours in terms of flying, hours of travel. The fan base, like you just abandoned the city. Like you grew up here supporting the local team, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever. Like people always have this allegiance, right? Some sort of affiliation, whether it's a family inherited thing, whether it's something that you grew up with this competition with your mates and whatnot from school to whatever, right? Um, yeah, like I couldn't fathom the idea of somebody just practically they picked up the club like a suitcase and left to a new state.
Yeah.
Like, is that going to
Yeah.
happen here? Are we going to end up having to watch Arsenal from Edinburgh, for example, or somewhere? Like,
That'd be horrible.
come on, right? So yeah, that is just monetizing the entire game, and that's what ticks me off about these ideas. It's great to have a competition. So if that's going to replace the Champions League, by all means, let's do that.
Um,
If it's not, because the Champions League, this is what UEFA did as well. Like they're not. Yes, they were blindsided the first time round, but they made straight away gave up these ideas, about how the new format, as we know in terms of Champions League, how it's going to be. This
yeah.
whole new league format and the top whatever 16 teams or top 8 teams. Um, so yeah, they tried to address it, but the idea of still being held by ransom by these owners is just like,
It's
come on.
just annoying, man. And
Clubs
I
should
feel
be.
that's
Mm,
sorry to cut you off. And I think that's one of the reasons why I don't want to, again, harping about the Glazers.
yeah.
I think that's one of the main reasons they did not want to sell. They're thinking, nah, like something might happen here, and
Mm,
there's a lot of money to be made. So why would you even put yourself in their shoes? Like if you're like an owner and you're just here to make
yeah.
money, why are you going to give up something that makes a lot of money every year and you don't even have to do anything? You could just sit in your house somewhere in
Mm,
California, wherever these idiots live, and just
yeah.
get money. Like
Yeah.
you can't
Exactly.
really blame them. Like yes, we're fans and we love the clubs and stuff like that. We love football. We love the way the pyramid works. They're just investors. It's like me going to
Mhm.
invest in something like in a company like Apple. I don't give a toss about Apple. Look at what they do the
Mhm.
day to day. As long as they bring me money,
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
wouldn't care. So it's like it's the same. It's the same with them. We don't like it, but it's the real world, isn't it? It's not just
That's
this football
this is the
bubble that
thing.
we're in.
You say that, but there's some teams that are out there, um, and the best example, the most honorable, if you like, in my opinion, are the Germans, right? It's a tough
Yeah,
sentence to say
I
that
like
one, but
Dortmund.
it is the
I
Germans,
like
right?
Dortmund. Yeah,
Bro, like the clubs are majorly owned by fans.
yeah,
It's the rules. It's the law. You cannot break it. You can own up to 49%, but the
yeah.
51% stake in the club must be
By the
owned
fan.
by the fans. So they have to have a say in it. Can you imagine if Arsenal, United, or any of those teams were 50%, 51% ownership of fans in that club? A lot of things would
It,
be different, right?
yeah, it'll be a lot of things would be different. Yeah, I don't think
Yeah.
the stuff that there are clubs are doing now would be, people would have got away with it. Like
Yeah.
it is shocking. But
Yeah,
that even leads
exactly.
me, yeah. Well, as seems like Mr. Mo is still having issues with his thing. He's only giving his opinion about
Hmm.
the Super League. Said it came out in the morning and then all the clubs shut it down. But that leads
Yeah.
me to Todd's boys. That's what I'm gonna call them from now on. Todd's boys, the
Hmm.
Chelsea lot. Yeah, they're through
Yeah.
to a semi-final. Ali, if you saw the way they were celebrating, oh yeah, yeah, we got through to the semi-final. And
I've heard one of them was crying on the pitch. I was like,
I
what?
was like,
This
what,
guy's a
what?
World Cup winner and he's crying after
Nah,
a
you're
Carabao
crying
Cup
over the
semi.
yeah, but oh the Mickey Mouse Club they were making fun out of United fans for winning last season. Now they're there
Yeah.
jumping up and down because they got to
No,
the fight semi-final. Funny how life comes at you fast, didn't it?
bro,
Um,
they were extremely fortunate, you know.
yeah,
That last minute error by Trippier, which seems to have, you know, a freaking I don't know, but he's got a thing going on right now, giving away
yeah,
goals in the last few minutes. But yeah,
yeah,
92nd minute, and
yeah,
the way he just yeah, just takes it out. Like it doesn't just. I'm not gonna say undo the hard work. You've got to remember this guy hasn't missed a game since August, right?
yeah.
So yeah, they get tired, they get worn out, whatever, you know. But it was a bad mistake. Um, yeah, like I don't see how any
That's
Chelsea
three
fan could really
mistakes in the
tell
lot.
me.
That's
Mm,
three mistakes in the last three games. Like,
yeah,
what's going on with
yeah.
him?
I think it was the Tottenham game, wasn't it, that they had
Yeah,
recently, and he gave
and
away
then
two goals. Yeah,
The Everton game.
yeah. So yeah, no, he's on a roll with that.
Yeah,
I don't think they have the opportunity or the option to drop him. You know, they're out of players, let alone
yeah,
defenders.
true.
You know. So yeah, no, it's I think it's a win. You got to remember that there wasn't extra time with the
Yeah, take
system and the
penalties.
format of the thing straight to penalties. So that last minute goal, had it gone to extra time, would they have really won it? We don't know. All we know is they didn't really create a lot of danger. They might have had a lot of chances, some great saves from Dubravka. Um, but yeah, like I didn't think that you could comfortably say that Chelsea deserved that win. It's not one
Nah,
of those
man.
games where you say, "Oh, they deserved it." No.
I, I didn't
Mm,
watch all the game. I watched
mm,
bits and pieces because I was doing something more important. But
mm,
Chelsea, like, from how the game panned out and what I've heard, I think Chelsea, like, well, they deserve the win. Yes, they were fortunate to get the goal, but
mm,
I think there's only one team there, as I said, like last year against Man United and Liverpool. There's only one team there trying to win. To be fair, it
mm.
was Chelsea. You can't. I'm not knocking Newcastle for trying to defend the
Yeah,
league. They nearly got there. They were so close. But if you look at the
yeah,
game itself, let's just be fair to Chelsea. Like they deserve the win. Like they
mm,
didn't create all the best chances, but they were on the ball more. They were probing.
yeah,
They were trying. I would say compared to Newcastle, who were just
yeah.
you know sitting back.
Yeah, no, that's
So
the thing. Like they had I don't know, like one could say a lucky break, right? There was a
yeah,
fact about Chelsea. I remember hearing it on one of the shows a few weeks back. I don't know if
yeah,
it still stands, but I found it absolutely hilarious. I think it was 15 games into the season, and the stat said something like anytime Chelsea had ball possession of 50% or more, they lost that game. They've only won games that had less than 50% possession. That is a
oh
solid
man.
fact, and I was amazed. But this is like it tells you about the kind of game. Like if they prepare for the game in a
Mm,
counter-attacking theme and all right, give them the ball. We know they're good with the ball. They're more likely to win the game as opposed to all right, we're all about possession football. You know, let's get the take the game by the scruff of the necks if you like, and whatever. We'll play them out the park. It's not working out for them when they do
yeah.
that. But yeah, we'll see
No,
what they do in the next round now.
I see like Nkuku is back now. So
Mm,
do you think Chelsea are going to improve more now they've got someone who's proven in the German league, not obviously
mm.
not in the Premier League. Do you feel like they'll be a bit more potent now up front?
The guy is talented, right? He's not a kid by any means. The guy's 26.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
so he's had his ups and downs, no doubt. And
yeah.
as they signed him, and he joined with an injury straight away, and that kind of kept him out for a while. So, um, like I feel for him, he had to go through that. But that's you could say the same about Timber with Arsenal.
Anyone?
He's
Yeah,
or a few others exactly. So, it's he's got a point to prove. If they're going to say something as opposed to the something to tackle the recent form, let's say, especially up front where they've had Jackson, they've had Broja or
yeah.
Breuer, and how they've continuously just went around about the idea of, oh, we don't have a lot of backups. We're waiting on Kunku to come back to make the difference. Now he's back. I
Yeah,
want to see the difference. That's all I
I want
want.
to see, yeah, same. I just want to
Yeah,
see smoke. I just want to see, oh
yeah,
yeah, Chelsea are back. They're heading
mm.
upwards. Trajectories upwards, not constantly, one step forward and then 10 steps back. Like I don't want to see that. Then Kuki's back now, innit? So Superman's here.
They're running out of excuses. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
he better show. But the guy has to
yeah,
deliver.
yeah.
Um,
So they got one
yeah,
positive within Kuku being like obviously now in the squad and fully
yeah.
fit to play. Now, but Reece James, not sure if you heard, he's got a
Another injury, I guess.
hamstring surgery coming up. He's got to go for surgery and he won't be back until April. So you got a
Yeah,
captain basically who just doesn't play.
man. Like I'm trying to remember. I'm sure he reminds me of one or two other players who've had that in their careers, but this guy seems to be either the unluckiest person. The only person that comes to
Oh,
mind is the Arsenal player, Diaby. If you remember him, he
yeah, yeah,
was.
yeah. He's a
I
talented
remember
player.
the games he played. He was very talented, right? I remember meeting him in person once. He's a great guy to talk to, and
Yeah,
but he just couldn't get a lucky break with the injuries, right? And with Chelsea and Reece James, it seems to be a similar idea. Like the guy is talented, no doubt, um, but he can't seem to put in more than freaking 10 games before he's out for a few months. I don't think he's ever had 10 games. I'm not sure. I don't follow as
I think when
closely
he
as
first
Chelsea
broke
fans.
through,
Mm,
he had a good run,
yeah,
but
no,
since then it's been and
that's the thing. The injuries
doctors
recently is
yeah,
just too much. So yeah, it will be yeah, news to. I mean, I don't know. You got to see like at that kind of level, that kind of club where you're trying to, come back to um, being one of those competing teams for titles and things like that, and top four
yeah.
finishes and all that. Um, can you afford something like that? I don't know. So yeah, it's got
No.
to be a point where they either let the ladies join the men's team and get his sister to play, or
Yeah.
find a
So at least
replacement. Yeah,
he's even better than him. But
yeah.
yeah, that brings me to your silly club. You got a
Oh,
big game this weekend. I'm not sure
oh.
you hear what Klopp was saying
I
about
did, yeah.
he wants Anfield to up the noise because now he's a library. So
Uh, it's a fact. Like this is the thing. It's in the last two games. I'm not a fan of quoting Gary Neville or Gary Neville as a human being in total, right? But
yeah,
he
leave
had a
Gary
quote
alone,
about
man.
man. He had in the United game. He's like, this is one of the quietest atmospheres I've ever witnessed at Anfield. Right? It was almost, it was dead.
Yeah,
And in their last game against West Ham, I watched clips of that. Right? It seemed pretty quiet, but
yeah,
the point that he said is like he's a guy. This guy is smart. He's a mastermind. He's a proper coach, right? So what that comment does, if you remember the last Arsenal game at Anfield, right?
yeah.
It ended 2-2, I think, towards the
Is
end of
that when
last season.
Arteta's tried to fight Klopp or they had an argument on the
Exactly,
sideline? Yeah,
exactly. Arsenal were absolutely smashing Liverpool on the pitch, absolutely
yeah,
killing them. Right? They couldn't get the ball. We were ahead. It was like this is it. Like for me, I was watching. I'm like, that's an Arsenal win. I can see the win coming. And then
yeah,
they had that scuffle, bro. When they had that scuffle, the crowd just exploded out of nowhere, right? And the
yeah,
atmosphere just instantly changed. It felt like somebody hit the nitro button on the Liverpool players. They just suddenly woke up, like halfway through the game, like,
yeah.
oh, we're on fire. Let's do this. And it ended up being a 2-2 draw. Um, so yeah, no, he wants that. And in his comment, he's like, I don't need to get into an argument with the opposing coach for that to kick off.
Mm.
So yeah, he's playing at that little string, hoping that it's ready for the game. Um,
Yeah,
I'm sure it will be. It's still going to be a cold Christmas um, night or afternoon. 5:30 is practically night, isn't it? So
yeah.
yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But yeah,
What what
he
what
already
do you
had a
think?
moan about it as well about the Arsenal rest. Since
Yeah,
we didn't play in the Carabao midweek, we had a couple of more days rest.
yeah. But he was playing
Yeah,
West Ham. He didn't have to play his full team. Like, come on, man.
man, and his like the players, and this is the thing that I just didn't get. So at the point that he brought in, let's say some of his first players, let's say Mo Salah, more specifically, right, the prolific
Yeah,
player in that squad, he brought him in and they were 3-1 ahead.
There's no need, so you can't complain.
I don't understand, like, what is it he trying to, prove or something? Is he trying to excite the fans? Is that part to the build up, or is he just trying to get them match fit? And then at the same time complain that Arsenal have the advantage by having the rest. That player could have had the rest, but he chose not to give him the rest. And he played a few of the younger players. Like it's, I don't know if it's just now a tradition that Carabao Cup
Yeah,
squads are normally for the fringe players or reserves or whatever. So yeah, it will be interesting to watch. There's going to be a few battles out there I'm excited about. I want to see the
but
arguably the
Trent versus
strongest.
Martinelli.
Um, Trent Martinelli, although I don't see him playing there so much, I've got a feeling he's going to have one of those. It's going to be one of those formations where Trent is more advanced and more central midfield,
Yeah,
almost like the Tottenham squad right now. Where the fullbacks, they're not overlapping. They come in and they tuck it into the
mhm.
midfield to give that number
Yeah,
advantage, and I think that's what they're going to be doing.
yeah,
Last year when we played them, um, there was a different midfield there. You had players like Fabinho and Henderson, players with experience, players with a lot of knowledge of the game at that level. Not to take anything away from their current squad, but they're fairly new players. Some would say
yeah.
they might argue that they haven't gelled together fully yet. So we'll see.
Yeah,
Um,
I would
yeah,
say their midfield is their weak point. Like, I think you definitely have
absolutely.
them over the midfield. But if they
Hmm.
do manage to like get a hold of that midfield and they play the ball into those forwards, yeah, it's gonna be
Yeah, that's
a
exactly
long
what it is.
evening.
Oh,
Yeah. So I
it
don't
sure
think you
will.
guys.
Like,
I think
mm.
you also gonna make it an open game. And if you make it an open game against Liverpool, I don't think that's a good idea.
This is the thing. Like, it's a battle of midfield purely. Like I know we're going to argue about, or some would argue about, yep, they're the strongest attack and you're the strongest defense in the league or whatever. I get that, but those are only viable or come in play if you have a midfield that is capable
Yeah,
of doing what they're supposed to do. So that game, in my opinion, is going to be decided in midfield, not up front, not in defense. Whoever
yeah,
wins the midfield battle is going to win the game. Simply, like you can limit them, and this is my worry, right? Like I fear for I don't worry about Gabriel and Saliba in terms of a partnership in central defense. Obviously, like arguably they're one of the best in the league now. Ben White on the right, I think that's a great option. The guy originally is a centre back, so he's got the knowledge of both. My only fear or concern is whether, since we don't have that many options, are we going to start with Zinchenko against Mo Salah, or are we going to start with Kivior?
Do you know,
So in both scenarios, there's
I
ups and downs.
hope you play
Mm,
Shevchenko against Salah. I think he'll finish him. I'm looking for,
yeah,
literally, I'm gonna get my popcorn now. I'm gonna watch Zini get cooked because the way Moses talks about Shevchenko like he's the best right back in the league. I'm like, nah, this man's in trouble.
no.
Yeah,
This is the thing.
let him
Like,
play against Salah.
he's a great player, talented, excellent on the ball, great knowledge, a good eye, for the game. He's got, so he can pick the right passes sometimes, right? I say that sometimes because you can tell that he's got the correct idea of where the ball should be played. Maybe he doesn't
Yeah,
execute it to the best, or waits a little bit too long, or does it too early, like whatever. I'm not trying to pick holes in his game, but the guy was never a defender. He was converted to left back at City, right?
yeah,
And I'm always cautious about that. Like if you're converting a centre back to a full back, I get that he's like it's how do I explain it? Like you're moving somebody from one profession to another profession that they are
yeah.
normally
God,
neighbors.
that's
They do
it.
the same kind
Yeah,
of tasks to some extent, right? But somebody who's not really used to, yes, they'll track back, but it's not
yeah.
their job to keep the line, make sure they're in line with their
Hmm.
defense, make sure they're tucking in here at this point or they're pulling out. Who are you picking up? Are you picking up the overlapping fullback or are you picking up the winger? Those kind of little decisions that can make a key difference here.
Yeah,
So yeah, I think he's a great player. But yeah, against the big boys, I'd like to see that battle. I hope he comes in and does a great job, and this will be nothing but
yeah.
another worry that hit the wind. But yeah, this, if you ask me where I think our weakness is, I'd say that left back position is going to be, it's their stronghold. This is the worst point. Like it's where they love to attack Trent and Mo Salah. And
Yeah,
in my opinion, to some extent, it's our weakest. Yes, Martinelli does, gives 120%. He comes back, he defends, he supports. Kai
yeah,
Havertz as well does that, but you need that trio, the defender, that they need to be in sync. And if you can't get them in sync, that's oof.
heavy.
Yeah.
What's your score prediction?
One thing guaranteed, it's not going to be a goalless game, right? It's
Yeah,
I think it's, I don't know, man. Like my prediction so far, I went with a 2-1 Arsenal.
yeah,
Um, but that game can easily be a 3-2, a 4-3, a 5-4. It could be anything. Like
yeah.
there's going to be goals. Two teams are going to go for it. I
Hmm.
don't think anybody's going to come in with the mentality of sitting back trying to defend. There's too much pride at stake. They're just going to go for it, and
Yeah,
it will be fun to watch. And I'd rather they do that. I'll be honest. I much prefer that. I any day of the week I'd take a 4-3 defeat as opposed to a 1-0 defeat. You went
yeah.
for it, you tried, you got
At
outscored.
least you
Yeah.
enjoyed it. To be fair.
Yeah, you went
Right
for it,
then,
you gave it something.
I see you selling digs for the biggest club in the world. Let's move on to them. We've got West
Mm,
Ham tomorrow away, lunchtime
mm,
kickoff at the London Stadium. I'm expecting a win. Like West Ham got cooked yesterday by Liverpool at the
mm.
Library. And it's not good Anfield anymore to me now until they start making noise again. Um, yeah, and that brings me on to Rasmus Højlund. He's been getting a lot of criticism. What, 13
Mm,
league games now without a goal or assist. And yeah, I hope he gets a goal. He has to get a goal tomorrow. I know because West Ham are going to sit deep. They're going to do what United did to um,
mm,
Liverpool over the week on Sunday.
mm.
So and we got Bruno back. No, I think he'll get a goal tomorrow. Like I think West Ham are gonna. That's what David Moyes does, isn't it? He just sits back and tries to get you on the counter. That's his
I don't
game.
know. I don't want to dampen your hopes, so yeah, I'll let you say that. But I've got a different opinion. I think you guys are
Well,
gonna have awkward scenario. Like this is the thing; it could go either way. West Ham are one of those teams where if they can hold you off from scoring in the first 25 minutes, in my opinion, you've
yeah,
got a game on your hand. You're gonna struggle. Like West Ham are one of those teams where if you score first, it's difficult to lose that game to them. Um, if you let them play their tactic of sitting back and shutting up shop,
yeah,
you're just adding pressure to your team. You got Bruno back. The player they tried to rest against Liverpool, Paqueta, although he came on in the second half at some point. I think he's key. The attack, like I couldn't. I saw few clips of the Liverpool West Ham game in the Carabao, right? And
yeah.
Thomas Suchek, it felt like the guy. I don't know if he had a hangover or he just woke up like 10 minutes before the game. The guy, he couldn't do. Honestly, he couldn't pass the
Yeah,
ball. And he's talking about a
yeah,
few meters, and a few times. One of their goals, the Liverpool goals, I clearly remember. Like he gave the ball away, and it was like a badly weighted pass, right? Like he never made it to the player, and he just stopped. He stopped at the halfway line, and the player that was next to him, who won the ball, who
mhm.
passed it, ended up scoring the goal. And Suchek was still on the halfway line, and you're like,
Yeah.
what?
He needs to do the same on Saturday. That's what he needs to do at
Yeah.
lunchtime.
So
Hope he
that's the
doesn't eat
thing.
his breakfast.
If he turns up on form, they've got a decent midfield.
Yeah.
Paqueta and I really like that. The
Judas.
holding midfielder Alvarez, is
Oh,
it?
yeah. He used to play under
Mm.
Ten Hag. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a decent player.
No,
Um,
he's been doing quite well for them. Like he's impressed me as
yeah,
well.
that's the thing. He's freed up Paqueta, right? Paqueta last
Yeah.
season and the year before that, I'm not sure. But I'm pretty sure last season he was the one who had to drop back and almost play that Perlo role, where you're so far back and you're trying to thread the balls from there.
Yeah.
Since this guy's come in, he's had more freedom to go up, and yeah, like I don't know if I really like their midfield. James Ward-Prowse, Paqueta, this guy, and and yeah, Suchek. They've got some, they cover all the basics. They've got the strength, they've got the technique, they've got the passing ability. It's going to be a battle in midfield, but yeah, like I think
Yeah.
you guys should have it covered up front. I think Bone is a great winger. I don't think it's the same up front. That goal he scored against Liverpool, had
Yeah,
it been
brutal.
against a different defender, a more experienced defender, he wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to hold like
Mm.
not like that. So yeah, I'm not sure how they'll get the goals. If it's counter attacks, then
That's what
they've
they're
got
gonna
some
have to do.
serious threats.
But we
Yeah.
we got Champions League Varane. Like he had a man in the match
Mm,
performance. I told Moses and Gerald Jezza the other day that yeah, to me personally, he's still world class. He's just been injured and not been getting a run in the team.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm happy he's back and he got some confidence back in him. So I think we win the game.
Mm,
We got a clean sheet against Liverpool, but that's playing low block.
mm,
So I think now we're going to be a bit more expansive. That means we might concede. So I'm going to go probably. United's forward line has to come and stop being toothless. Like eventually, you're gonna have to kick into
yeah.
gear and stop. Yes, I'm gonna put my neck out on the line and say 3-1 United, and Hoyland's getting a goal.
I mean, I don't know where he's going to get that goal from. The guy's talented, but
Yeah.
he's got wingers that will never pass the ball to him. And if they do,
But
it's either too late or way too early or not in the right place.
see,
Like
see what
you
you just said
gotta,
there.
yeah,
Like I don't want to like make the show longer than it needs to be. But I was having
mm,
this argument, like in
mm,
one of our group chats. You can't blame the guy if he's not getting service. I'll get it. Like if he was having clear cut chances and he's just missing, like a
mm,
Lukaku. Let's say for example, Lukaku get the ball
mm-hmm,
and he's just missing, like easy
yeah,
chances. You score the most difficult one, but the ones where like bro, you can just pass it into the net. It's a goal. He will miss them. So if Hoyland was getting chances like that, where he's getting the ball all the time and he's just taking a piss and just can't even hit the target. By all means,
mm,
I'll get the criticism. Yes, it should have scored, but that's not down to him solely. That's to me personally. That's down to the team and how bad the team's been performing. He's got no service, and even when he
mm,
does try and I had someone say, "Oh no, but he should be getting there. He's always like a yard off." Like it's a bit more. It's a bit difficult to get there when you don't know the ball's even going to come there because you're not used to getting the ball anyway from your teammates.
yeah,
So you're second guessing yourself and you're second guessing these man because you don't know what they're doing. There's no pattern. There's no pattern with them. Whenever Garnacho or
mm,
Anthony or Rashford they get the ball, they've got one thing on their mind: go for goal. So what? Is he meant
yeah,
to feed off for scraps? Like, nah, man. I don't buy that argument. But I get rival fans are gonna say what they're gonna say. I get it. Biggest club
yeah.
in the world, innit? So come and talk all you like.
Well,
But
yeah,
so nah, man. I just hope he shuts them up this weekend. So I'm looking forward to. So that's my rant over. I
yeah,
just had to get that out
yeah. No, no, it's good to vent out.
there.
It's a great like this is the thing. The guy's got a great prospect ahead of him, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it was a rash signing, I'll be honest with you. But this is the case with a lot of strikers nowadays. They have one decent season. The guy scored 9 goals in an
No,
entire season.
he
And it's
wasn't
like,
supposed to
oh, let's
be.
get him.
He wasn't
Um,
supposed to be our main striker. He was meant to be like an understudy to like a Osimhen or a
mm,
Kelly. United just couldn't afford them. Then they got their
yeah,
pants pulled down
yeah,
by Atalanta because
yeah,
Rashford's is not worth the money they paid for. Like he's a
no,
young guy.
exactly.
He's young in it. Like
Yeah.
come on, man.
No, it's,
It is what it is.
yeah, it's, that's the thing. I think the one of your best wingers so far this season um, doesn't actually play for United. I mean, he is a
Uh,
United player, but he doesn't play for United. In my
yeah,
opinion, is
he plays in
Elanga.
Spain.
No,
Oh, Elanga.
Elanga.
I think
I
no, Elanga.
I
He's not our player anymore. We sold him.
officially sold him, or I thought
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
a
sold him. I thought we
loan.
were talking about Greenwood. Yeah,
Ah,
but
no, Greenwood.
let's not talk about Greenwood. Yeah, let's leave Greenwood
Yeah,
alone.
let's not do that.
Yeah,
But yeah, no, I think that's the thing. Like, if you see him for Forest, he's actually doing quite well. And this is a guy
yeah.
that didn't get a chance at United. Well,
No.
maybe he did,
But
but not
he
enough.
plays on the left, innit? So
Yeah,
Rashford's always going to play, innit? So
I mean, yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think there's been a lot of choices here um, that probably weren't the best. Like, if you're gonna, yeah, they need to clear out. They need to get rid of them. If I was a United coach, if I turned up to United tomorrow, there's going to be a massive clear out.
yeah, there is going to be even
Absolutely
with
massive clear out. Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the news with Jadon Sancho, the club saying that they might, if they can't sell him, they're just going to terminate his contract. That's what they need to start doing because then that kind of stops player power. Yeah, I'm on a big contract. Cool. Terminate, we'll pay you out, clear off. Try and go and get the same contract somewhere else. You're
Hmm.
not going to get offered that. So
No,
I think that's
I think
take the loss.
is he?
Yeah.
Tell me something. Is he not still the highest paid player at United?
No, I think
I
it's
think for
Rashford
his
now.
contract. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you guys should have got rid of him in the summer when Arsenal came for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you played it too cool, and now I don't know, man. Like, yeah, there should be like this whole move is a bit like the Arteta
Aubameyang.
saga. Yeah, Aubameyang,
Yeah.
Ozil. There was a few players that were just let go. Um, Pepe, club record signing. I think still is no.
Yeah.
Obviously
No, it's
Rice
not
is
now.
now the
It's
club.
Rice now, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, but for the time and just to terminate the contract after a guy spending a year out on loan, um, you just got to take those decisions. Once you do that, everyone's got to pull their socks off or just be prepared to pack their bags. It's as simple
Right.
as that.
We'll see. We'll see. What happens on the weekend? There's a game today,
Mm,
right?
yeah.
Crystal Palace, Brighton. What's your score prediction for that one?
Um, it's I don't know, man. Like this is the thing.
Okay,
Palace are a
okay,
very
Palace.
organized team. No,
Yeah.
I don't see that happening.
Nah, man, they just drew Man City. They're on high. They're at home. Brighton just lost to you guys. They're down. Got players missing.
Mm.
Nah, man, I'm
No,
going
this is
Crystal
the
Palace
thing.
win.
I don't know, man. For me, I'd always pick Brighton. Brighton are one of those teams that they play football, and I respect that, right? So they don't sit back and defend no matter who the opposition is.
Yeah,
Um, Palace are not that kind of team. Um, they scored that equalizer, the first, not the first, sorry, the first goal that they pulled against City, um, with their first attack, and it was like I think 70 something minutes.
yeah,
So they have that patience and that, they're well drilled, like a proper Roy Hodgson kind of team where they sit back, they know what their plan is, they don't, lose belief in it, and they just keep going at it. It's going to be a tough one, and it's a derby, I believe. Although I'm not sure how that works out. South London and Brighton are
yeah.
not that close, but
Yeah,
I know it's a derby. They don't really like each other that much, so it's going to be a
cool.
big game.
That's all.
But yeah, I don't know. For me, I think Brighton will edge it. I'm going to go with I don't know, tough one, but I'll say 2-0 Brighton. Yeah.
All right, let's leave it there then. Thanks for watching, guys. Please like and subscribe. We'll catch you on the next one. Thanks, Al.
See you. See you guys.
Bye.